Ms. Carter, according to your complaint, you met the defendant, Mr. Polk, in church.
Yes.
You began dating him, seeing him, feeding him, lent him a lot of money, according to your complaint, about $2,700.
Yes.
During the course of this relationship,
Yes.
you're no longer seeing him, and he says that he doesn't owe you any money because you say, according to your...
She never...
Shh, don't talk over me. You say, although she gave you money...
Correct.
She gave it to you because God told her so.
Yeah, she told me that, I told her, I asked her, I said, well, you know, there's no way I can pay you back this money. You know, she said, don't worry about it, you know. I talked to God about it, and he said it was okay for you to help, for her to help me. I said, fine. I said, but, you know, in the event that you do need my help, you know, I'll be there for you. You know,
what did you mean by that, sir?
By, you know, I used to fix her car for her, do the brakes, do everything for her car, make sure it would run. I never charged her anything. Okay.
Yeah. What else did you do for her?
And a few times she was having some financial problems, and I had some money. She called me on the phone, hey, I need some help. I loaned her money. Well, I didn't loan it to her, but I gave it to her. At one time, it was like $60.
All right,
she
so
called
we got $60. What else?
He's lying.
I never gave you a dime?
Now, listen to me. No, we're not talking about a dime. We're talking about $60. How much more did you give her?
No, and another time, well, another time was like $50 I let her have, you know.
All
and
right,
that's
so
just because she called me and asked me, you know, if I could help her.
So
And
we're
I
up to
told
110.
her. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. All right. So now let's start from the beginning. Which church did you meet him at?
New Philadelphia Missionary Baptist Church.
And tell me about the meeting.
I had seen him there. He'd been going to church there for about a year when, well, about 8 months, when he was invited to my home for breakfast with some other people. Someone who had been invited him. And that was in August of 1995. In October of 1995, he left his son unattended on one of the pews that was 2 in front of me, and the child was going to climb over the pew, so I thought I would get up and get the child so he wouldn't hurt himself. So I got up and got the child. When he came back, I sent the child back to him. He sent the child back to me. So from October through January of 1995, beginning 1996, I babysat his child in church when he would bring him to church. So by January...
What was he doing while you were babysitting the child?
Sitting there half asleep in church. So,
that's not true. That's not true.
Go ahead.
So anyway, January, I had kept the child this particular Sunday, and we were going out to another church that Tuesday or Wednesday night. And he asked me if I was going to go, and I said, I won't have a vehicle. My daughter's going to use my car. And I said, if you would like, could you pick me up? He said, sure, you babysit my child for me all the time. That's the least I could do for you is to pick you up and give you a ride to church. So he came by that night, and we rode to church together.
Are we going to get to the money soon?
Yes. Right now, I'll get to the money.
Okay, because this is not a mini-series.
Okay. Okay, very good. So about the next Sunday, he had to go to this meeting in Running Springs, I think it was. Okay, so he was on the phone that Sunday. He had come by my house for breakfast that morning, and he was on the phone trying to get some money to go to this AA meeting he had to go to. This was his 2-year sobriety. And so I was in my bedroom, heard the discussion, and me being the good person that I am, a fool, I offered to loan him $40 to get to his meeting. That's the first.
What did you say to him?
I said, I wasn't eavesdropping on your telephone call, but I heard you pleading with more than one person for some money. So if you need some money, I'll loan you $40 to get there.
Does that sound familiar to you?
She never said, I'll loan you. She said, if you need it, I'll help you. You know. I said, well, you know I'm not working, so, you know, I can't pay you back.
Oh, no, Your Honor,
okay.
he was working. The day he picked me up from church, he had just rushed home from work, took him 20 minutes to get ready, and rushed over to